Turkin around, long as they've been alive. Turkin around, guess we're doing it live. Talking about the songs, maybe drinking some beer. Turkin around is you. You got Paul and Noel, Billy Law, country singer Joshua Ray Walker, Dick and Mongo Will. Be real, whatever. So to start off, I guess here we are. We're recording now. We are Ottoman Turks, and this is Turkin Around. Welcome. Woo! Will, I don't know if we can hear you now. No, we can't.
Nope, he's gone.
Oh, we've been able to hear him for the past, huh?
No, yeah, we can hear you now.
Oh, I muted it just to move my microphone so you wouldn't hear.
Yeah, Turkin Around, which is mostly what we do day in and day out. So we're here to talk about our album that we put out in August of 2019, long before we knew that anything was going to happen in 2020. In fact, we were all looking forward to this year. I don't know about y'all, but I've wanted to live in 2020 for my whole life, pretty much, because it is the future, and that's very exciting.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to this year my entire life. 20 is my lucky number.
I remember you saying that, I think, at the turn of
it's the future. And I was going to go to the Olympic Games.
You're going to go to Tokyo?
That was the plan when I was 17 or whatever, and they announced that it was going there. I was going to turn 30. It's all canceled.
And here we are. But at least we've got
Anymore.
What's that? Will?
What's going on over there?
You know how every musician only has a third of a working mic?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just slowly
There it goes.
That's definitely going in the intro too. So yeah, so it's been a year since we put out this record. Y'all have any feelings about that? That's pretty crazy.
I didn't realize that's why we were doing this.
Well, time flies when you're having fun. Well, you put out a record too in between.
Yeah, that's true. This whole last year doesn't feel like a year.
It really doesn't. It feels like we were just in Tulsa.
We've been stuck in time since March.
Yeah.
And nothing
happened.
So it really hasn't been a year.
Right.
I think I finally caught up with it though. We're okay, now I know that it's August, whereas I've really been thinking it was just close to March for the past few months, but
same.
Regardless. So we're here to talk about some songs, right? We have some songs on this record. It's not that mime record that Tom Waits talks about.
Silent record.
Yeah, the silent record. That's not what we put out, but y'all talk so much when we're in the pre, and then we start going for the thing, and y'all stop talking.
That was a great intro, Nathan.
Yeah, here we are.
You're doing great.
Turkin around. It's time to go home. Okay, so the first song on the record, we're gonna talk about the first two songs on the record, which are coincidentally typically the last two songs we play in our set, right, guys? I feel like I'm talking to a kindergarten class. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is that, I wonder?
Because they're fun and exciting, I guess. I don't know. Why did we choose that? I feel like it was Trey.
They're good.
Well, they're good. I stand behind all of the songs on the record.
That's good.
Yeah. If there is a song that anyone hates, just wait till that song's episode and then we can talk about it. But Paul, what do you think about opening with Apathy and Snake Song?
So it's funny that I was actually listening to the record right before this because I like to plan and prepare for these kinds of things.
Like any good reporter.
Exactly, yeah. It's funny to me that those are the openers because it fits, but like you said, it's especially Snake Song, such a closer. That's
right.
Kind of like the fireworks, but I think it really sets the tempo and the mood for the record, which I think is necessary. We fit into a lot of holes. So
a lot of square pegs, a lot of round holes.
Yeah, something along that metaphor. So I think it's good to set the tempo.
We fit in a lot of holes.
Yeah.
Worse things could be said, I think.
I think we put those songs first, partially because we knew this was our first record and our first time that people would be hearing us. And so we had to pick something that kind of represented what we were. And those songs are pretty broad in their arrangement, and they're both trying to have a good time, which is
That's what
generally,
we're all, turking around, right?
Generally what we try to do. So I think that was part of the conversation.
This would be like the kind of like podcast where every time you say the title, like lights and there's like the alarms and
or people at home have to drink. How about
collusion.
yeah.
I think like your goals on streaming and a live show are like completely different. For a live show, you're trying to have a good time, but you're also saving the best for last, so the people like you go out on a great note.
Don't you and Josh, you have your kind of like song theory where you've got numbers for songs, right? So you've kind of got like a waves and crescents or whatever. What is it?
Peaks and
troughs.
Yeah, peaks and valleys. There you go.
Holes and
pegs.
Hate it here.
with someone streaming something, people don't really listen. A lot of people don't listen to records anymore. So you kind of have to, like, the most listened song is usually going to be your first song, unless it's in your top 5.
True.
Don't go messing around on side A, because those are the songs people are going to hear.
Yeah.
Stick to the hits, baby.
Even in this modern age of like everything's digital, that's true. Like you could pick any song on the record, and yet the first half is always the most listened to, and the second half, those last few tracks don't get much love, unfortunately.
Whatever doesn't make it in your top 5, like, on the artist page, whatever's not there. It took Mas Amigos forever to catch up to everything else.
Which is, we chose that one specifically because it's also a party, and it like ends the record. We actually, we have ended with that one back in the day, or usually like if we have to do an encore for some reason, which never happens.
For some reason.
I don't know. The fans, I mean, my mom demands it. Dude.
We didn't play as long as we were supposed to.
Yeah, right. It's like, oh, shoot, we got 5 minutes left. But the first, I think Apathy and Snake really do. Well, and that Glass Bottles is next, which we'll get to next week. Hold your horses. We'll get there. And we all have to drink Shiner probably for that. I don't know.
That we can definitely make happen.
I have a Shiner cup, but it's not something.
What are y'all drinking? Maybe we can get a sponsor.
Yeah. Well, in this Shiner cup, I have Topo Chico and I forget what kind of tequila I get. I don't pay that much.
Camarena.
No, it's in a glass bottle, but oh hey.
Really?
That's all that matters. Matters?
Oh,
that's matters in bottles.
I'm drinking Fraser Brooks, fine, smooth bourbon.
3
it's
ice
like lemonade.
cubes.
Yeah, so my theory is it's just easier to like fill it up with ice and then just fill this up with whiskey, and that is your drink for the rest of the night. Yeah, it's nice.
Sipper.
I'm drinking some Benchmark Old Number 8 out of a Crown Royal.
Those Crown
glass.
Royals are so great. Branding, man.
I feel like every dad
those purple dads
has a set of these.
Well, yeah, because you can buy the little pack, right? It's like, I don't even have to clean the glass. I just buy the bottle and the glass comes with it.
My dad he definitely has Crown Royal glasses. I think it's just because that's the easiest gift to get a dad.
Yeah.
I just get you a bottle of whiskey, so here's some glasses that you don't need because you already have.
That was fancy.
Yeah.
I think these were my dad's.
Yeah.
And then like he left.
Down.
No, he moved out, and I took them from my mom, I guess. It's my inheritance.
I would say that I am no longer in the glass lowballer game, and I highly recommend just buying these plastic lowballers because it's way better.
That's next level. You can just toss them. Yeah.
You hate turtles?
Don't worry. He cuts them up before he puts them in the trash.
Don't tell Paul's girlfriend.
Yeah. Are we gonna have bleeps on this thing, or
I don't know.
That's good to think about.
We also aren't talking about the song anymore.
That's the point, right? Turkin Around.
Turking around the songs.
It's not
turking around the
songs.
point. That is what I get accused of all the time.
All right, Apathy. Josh, where did that riff come from?
Where did that riff come? Kind of that whole song sort of popped up. We like learned it basically in the studio, right?
I think we had jammed on the riff, like the main chord, part.
Right. We had the basic structure, I think, sort of down in the practices leading up to the.
I think we just played it at one practice, and then I think
I can remember.
And all you said was there are words, and the whole song goes like this. And then I think we actually came up with the structure in the studio, but it was pretty self-explanatory.
Right, it's like 4 times, 2 times, whatever.
The
like what we were doing in the studio.
Yeah, that was scary. And I'm
staring at each other the whole time. It's like a really simple song, but like when you're making it up on the spot, you're like, okay, this is the other part.
Right.
Since None of us speak good music vocabulary.
Words.
The next part, you know, the one that's like, dunno.
Right. And then hit your thing with the thing, and then I'll play that stuff with my things. And
one of my favorite parts about Ottoman Turks is you two never learning what drum sounds correlate to the thing you actually want. You make like cymbal sounds for kick drums and
yeah. Listen, if you can't understand rumba dum dum poop poop poop, then I don't know what to tell you.
That poop a poop poop was definitely a cymbal based on your hands, and that's not the sound cymbals make. That's what I'm talking about.
It was, when you hit the cymbal in the very middle, it makes kind of a
ding. It makes a ding.
I know.
Not a poop.
Paul gets me. Paul gets me. Right, Paul?
Whenever
I have to. It's like sink or swim out there. So.
While trying to talk to Paul, I'm like, you know, like if it just kind of like did a little more this. And Josh, I think you go to the ride, Paul.
It's I'm almost bilingual there. So
I think Paul's stressed out just from hearing all of this. It's like he's back there right now.
like he just like, oh god.
The studio is a stressful time, and when you're doing like, you know, brand new songs, especially for your debut record, and we only had 3 days to do everything, it was all sort of terrifying and frustrating. How many songs did we do a day? I can't
12 one day and
a weekend, right?
8 the next or something.
I don't even remember. Was it a weekend?
I don't know.
I think Paul took off work. All I remember really is meeting up at the landing on the last day, super late because it like we went till like 11 or something, and then we had to load out, and so we barely made it there. Kind of for like last call, I think I ordered like 3 shots to myself to celebrate
Dogs.
and corn dogs. And then the next day I couldn't stand up because my diaphragm was so sore from singing for all the vocal takes for the last, you know, day and a half or whatever.
You cut all those vocals in like 4 or 5 hours.
We did a little bit on the second night and then most on the third day. But yeah, it was rough.
That's all Turks has ever done. I mean, when a long time ago when we cut our first record with Salim Naral in 11 hours, we did 11 songs.
True. Yes. We're all about consolidation, making it easy. You know,
it sounded like it too.
For us, we play or vice versa. We all tour together, you know, like.
Next first record was like in 2 days at Redwood in Denton.
True.
And
they gave us a free half day because the AC broke. You remember that?
That's
it
right.
was so hot.
Yes.
We were dying.
Dude, that was one of the hottest. I mean, that was almost hotter than that lake show.
Oh my god.
Played out in.
That was the hottest show I've ever played.
Yeah.
That was miserable.
They put us on travel.
Did they email us again recently asking us to?
Yeah. They asked us to play this like Labor Day, even though.
I don't think it was even as official. I think she just commented on a post, which honestly I would if we had a tarp or something.
Oh, 2 things. One, I didn't answer the slide question riff.
That's right.
About Apathy.
Way back.
I don't think I had played that before we got to the studio. And if I remember right, I like hummed it or something and then tried to figure it out. But in my mind, I heard it as like a horn part.
It does kind of sound like a horn part.
And then I was like, oh, I guess I'll try it. And then you can play it over and over and over. And it works for the whole song.
I read somewhere that's how Chuck Berry thought of his like guitar parts, you know, all the distinctive like he thought of it as like horn parts. So, you know, I guess that's the way to think of things if you're trying to write something sort of iconic. And I do consider the Apathy guitar riff iconic, yeah. Akin to Chuck Berry.
It does get stuck in your head. You can't deny that.
It's very simple, but
this.
The whole song there's nothing to the song.
There's not much to it, no.
The first time that got on the radio, who was that with again? Yeah, that's right, with KXT.
Yeah.
I was actually with my family at the time because we were on vacation, and so my dad was listening to it, and obviously that was the first time to hear it on the radio, and probably it's the first time to hear it actually recorded. And for the rest,
I think that was our first time on the radio in general was Amy Miller, right? She played us. Yeah.
For the rest of the day and for the rest of the week, my dad kept singing that guitar part, like just walk around the house. And so that's when I knew, like, okay, yeah, that's
a song.
Next thing you know, we hit platinum, and here we are we're actually all in one big house right now. Each Turk has a wing, and
we all decorated differently.
Yeah. Paul just actually has a kitchen. We just gave him the kitchen.
I've just been in this very small sound stage for the last 6 months.
I feel like every time I see you, you're there. So it's
because as long as I keep this set up, I don't have to worry about what the rest of my house looks like. There's a pile of laundry.
I get in trouble for showing that this is just on top like that.
Well, we saw you fling it up there, and Paul's like, "Oh, did he just take off his clothes?"
Turkin around.
Turkin around. You never know what's gonna happen, folks.
Can we get the rights to the Benny Hill?
It's not gonna happen.
Music.
I'm worried about getting the rights to our own music to play in the background of this later. I think
that's
taken
true.
off of Instagram or whatever. So what about Apathy? Yeah. One more thing I'd like to point out. I think Paul's drums are kind of the key to that song. It's like it makes me think of Sex Pistols' Submission, which has always been one of my favorite songs. It's got that sort of like super bassy tom heavy thing, which is sort of the backbone of the whole song. And I would frequently probably forget what part we're at if not for like that thing sort of chugging along.
So obviously we had Josh's guitar riff that was going to be throughout the song. So once we had that, I kind of knew that I didn't really need anything flashy or unique for the song. I just needed something to actually drive it and give it some structure and backbone. With the right tempo, it's just one of those kind of chug along songs, the toms fit perfectly for it. And
that's one of those songs that finds its own tempo. Should it be faster? Should it be slow? When you find it, it really,
I think
it really works at one speed.
I think I've probably started at every tempo known to man, and it always ends up right where it needs to be.
It's a good settle in song,
Yeah.
It all settles in about the time you start singing.
Yeah.
Because I've definitely had to play the opening riff
I
feel like that happens a good amount where it's like then it just slowly speeds up.
Mark from Brave Little Howl gave us a big compliment a long time. I think when the record came out, and I'll never forget it. Thank you, Mark. It was very kind. And he said that it's so hard to get a mid-tempo song to be so upbeat and fun as Apathy is. And it was I don't know, something that he noticed. And I've never heard anybody say that. Or even really, I'd never thought of Apathy as a song like that. And I was like, wow, that's a big compliment, and I appreciate it, especially coming from Brave Little Howl. But now I can't think of it as anything else. I'm like, oh yeah, it is kind of like an upbeat, mid-tempo song.
It's a highway driving song for sure.
And then it's followed by Snake Song, which is one of our hardest driving, most intense. I always worry about that. We always end the show, which hopefully most of the time people are suitably prepared for what we're about to lay on them. But I still, as I am going up to sing the first verse, I'm like, have y'all been suitably prepared for the intensity that's about to hit you with this song? Because it's pretty nuts at times, especially live.
Or not, you get the lights going insane.
Gives people seizures. Hopefully not.
At least on the new record, we have some things that can match it, maybe not in intensity, but at least delivery. It won't just be the one standout where you walk up to me and go, I don't know about much.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's my favorite part of recording. I'll just throw that little story nugget in there. It starts out with me yelling 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And when we were recording vocals, didn't have anything to do on that song besides that part, so we basically did it after the fact. I was like, okay, I gotta be loud and intense like I'm at a live show, and I did it, and it was all over the place speed-wise. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and it took us a minute for me to settle down and get it to a place where I could do an actual live version of that, but actually on time.
It's a good time to bring up, and I don't know how we haven't talked about him already, but John Pettigo, who was key to really anything we've ever done. We wouldn't probably still be a band if not for the effort and talent that he put into that first record, just because that was our kind of final hope, right? We're okay, if we don't make it sound like what we sound like, what we put into our live show now, then there's no point. And he did it. And I feel like the gang vocals, which are on Apathy too, with the hey hays, and getting your 1, 2, 3, 4, because you did that in the recording booth, right? He just spun that mic around and shoved it at you, and you did it, right? Mm-hmm. And that's all his genius. When I listen to the record, I obviously listen to the songs, but the things that just still kind of blow me away are all of his contributions of the gang vocals and stuff. So he would twist the mic in different directions. We'd shout in different parts of the room, and it just sounded really sweet.
Pettigo
2, 3, 4 is one.
a beautifully subtle hand, and when it comes to producing, most of the time he's giving you directions, and I don't think that you know that you're actually getting directed. You just do it.
And he'll tell you suck.
True.
Right.
Which is good.
I don't who's going to be listening or watching this, but
maybe no one.
Everyone.
Probably.
Maybe. But like, if you've never been in a recording studio, the first few times, it's just fear everywhere.
I don't think that goes away. It's every time.
Doing this the right way, and they just want to make me feel okay, so they're not saying anything. Am I like to waste all of our money trying to go 1 2 1 2 3 4 on time? You're just breathing in fear. And if you have a producer that's like trying to technically correct you on everything, it wears you down and makes everything worse. I think Pedigo's really good at just being like, all right, do it this way, but shimmy a little more.
Just do it better.
Right.
The food just showed up.
I'm hungry. You're hungry. Why don't we just do it like the best, and then we can go eat?
When he was like, when you listen to y'all record, it's like the first 2 takes, it's like y'all never played as a band. And then like 2 or 3, it's like, okay, finally they got it, and somehow it sounds really nice. I don't know.
Right.
You do it 3 or 4 times, and then he's like, okay, there's a first take.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do that one kind of like that, but better 3 more times.
It's weirdly motivating though. You're like, all right, okay, we got one. What else about Snake Song?
I don't remember how Snake Song started. Where did that song come from?
It was in Brian, I remember. There's this one Howlin' Wolf. It's kind of based, it's like a twisted, sort of distorted, horrible nightmare form of a riff from of course it's like traditional because it's blues. I know it wasn't his, but it was based on his version of that. And so I was playing around with that, and I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of different. And I came up with some lyrics that are suggestive. And we were all living in Turk's mansion down in Bryan at the time. And I remember at some point, Josh came down, as he did frequently, and we worked it out in the band room. Before my computer died, I had like an early practice of us doing that song.
I usually kind of pick whether or not I put slide on a Turk song or not, but I think on that one you asked me to try slide, and I think that's how I ended up with a brass slide. I didn't have one with me, and you let me borrow yours, and I liked it, and then I ended up getting my own, and I've used brass slides ever since.
I'd venture to say that Snake Song is one of my favorites to play. I also think that the cut on the record turned out pretty great. It's a wall of sound that envelops you and drives you to the bar. It doesn't drive you home though. Fast Bottles does that.
That's a top Turk song live. I think it's the most fun for everyone to just kind of
let loose.
It's my favorite closer for sure. You can do it.
From stamps.com.
Yeah, and now a word
to you,
from our sponsors, Madison Reed.
CASPER mattresses.
What's that one, Paul, that you were talking about?
Extreme restraints.
Yes.
That'll really turn this up to 18 and over podcast.
Well, I feel like we've covered a lot of ground here on this first episode of Turkin Around.
Can only get better from here.
I'm the one who has to edit it, so I'm already like thinking, oh God, how am I gonna do? But yeah, so we are. Don't make fun of me. I'm cutting you off.
No, we're not.
Okay. Then you can keep going.
Indeed.
That's not a good closer.
What we're going to do is a mouth version of Snake Song, part by part. 1 2 3 4. Bum, bum. 2 1 2 3 4. Bum 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 bum.
Yeah, that's a good closer.
We're all
very happy. We're all very happy that this record ever even made it anywhere, was recorded, and that's because of State Fair Records.
Yes.
Couldn't have done it without him. John Pedigo could not have done it without him. And it's been a year almost. August 23rd will be the 1-year anniversary. We did 20 songs in 3 days. We're celebrating that. 12 of those made it on our debut. And then 8, the 8 left over, are on part 2.
Plus some bonus morsels.
Right, yes. Plus some secrets. Regardless, this is all a celebration of what has been a year that we never thought we would really get to celebrate. So, love you all. This has been fun.
Thanks for turking around.
Do you do a freeze frame? All right.
Yeah,
wait.